There's a lot of you out there that have been watching my channel for a long time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for all your support. I'd like to say that I bounce around a lot. I try to keep them different. I try to keep them interesting. But most of my videos are about discovery, what I happen to see when I'm at a job site. I keep my camera with me all the time, and I'll run into a new bit of decay or a new fungus or something that surprises me, and I like to introduce these new discoveries so that I can share them with you guys out there, you tree lovers out there. And this isn't specifically for professionals or even people who are trying to get into the business. This channel is for all of you out there who want to know more about trees. So let's go check out some trees today. All right, this is just a little preview of what's to come. I'm not going to show you this whole thing now, but let's go to where the job site is. This is the last piece of open space in just about the entire Santa Clara County. And sadly, it's going to be developed. There's flags everywhere now. A little bit of a self-portrait there. I was doing some work on the front of the property, but we had this large dead pine tree way at the bottom of the property. It was a 6-acre property. One of the things I'd like to talk about is one of the ways of cutting to get the branches to pretty much go straight down. As you saw on that last cut, we did an undercut first, far enough to where we can cut fast enough on the top, but not so far as to pinch the saw. You can see we've got this fence right here, and if we would have cut from the top down, it very likely would have hinged under and hit the fence. So it's kind of a trick that most tree guys understand, but it's easy to screw up. Here, we're going to do it again here. I should say Jorge's going to do it again here. Gets the underside one first, get it out of the way. Undercut first, boom, comes straight down. Missed the fence. Let's do it again. So you can only go out so far on these dead branches. By the way, this tree has been dead for 2 years, and the bark was peeling off. This was a pretty sketchy job. We did not feel good about it at all. And we couldn't get the chipper anywhere close to it. There was a big hill. So I told the client, I said, I'll tell you what, we'll cut it down, we'll clean it up and bring it into your yard. And I'll use the bobcat and crush the brush. And I got a second thought. I thought, wow, I wonder if I could dig a hole and bury it. So I did. Here's a cut that we made that I wasn't too comfortable with. Jorge made a great big wedge on this piece. It was the top piece. And it had a long ways to go to clear the fence. I tied a rope on it and instructed us to pull and continue to pull. So the problem is, as soon as something starts to fall, you haven't got a whole lot more control of continuing to get it to move towards you. So the two of us were on it. We were pulling really hard when it came time. He told us when to pull. And I was always watching him. I thought, damn, that's an awfully big wedge you're cutting there. He cut this thing more than halfway through, which kind of surprised me. I don't think I would have gone quite that far. But it seemed to work out okay, and I'll show you how it went. I think he was pretty nervous up here. All this wood was really, really brittle, and I don't blame him. If this was a healthier green tree, no problem. We would have gone all the way up the top and pieced it out in lots of little pieces. See the size of that wedge. There's a shot, still shot of before. And he started yelling to us to pull hard. That's when I got a little bit nervous. Because you have to hand over hand and keep pulling. You can't just get it started and then stop. You'll notice how the butt end of that continues to roll. Let me show you that again in slow motion. Watch the butt end. It didn't just go down. It continued to pull over, and that was only because we were pulling on the rope really hard continuously. You can see what we had to clear there. It wasn't super dangerous, but I didn't want to fix that chain link fence. That would have added some expense money to it. And I want you to take notice of the trunk. The trunk is leaning back. We're at the bottom of the property. And I didn't want to spend the time chunking this down because the bark was kind of peeling off. Jorge didn't want to wear spurs either because you spur into the bark that's peeling off and it just comes off in big chunks. So he left a lot of stubs up there to stand on. So what we decided to do was we got out the big turfer winch and I had him hoist a big chain up to the top of the tree, and we found an oak tree further away. You can see what the situation is like. And this is kind of cool. I made the wedge cut, came in from the backside, and he just kept winching and winching and winching until it comes. It went pretty smooth. The whole key to this was to keep the wedge hinge consistent. There it is. You can see it was a consistent almost 2 inches all the way down, 1.5 to 2 inches. If I'd have gone a little bit too far, we would have lost control. If I wouldn't have made it big enough, we wouldn't have been able to pull it over. And because the tree was totally dead, you lose that flexibility in the wood. So here we are near the end of the job. This is pretty much how we left it. I moved all the wood over to one side with the bobcat. I found these images I wanted to share. Maybe some of you have seen this. This is what it was like to clear out gypsy moths in the 1800s. Look at that spray rig. And that's the same tree that we saw in the first image. Apparently the gypsy moths killed it. This was interesting. I counted 27 people on this job, and this was all about clearing out the larvae. Well, that was just one of 5 different jobs we did last week. It's Saturday right now. I usually do my editing on Saturdays, sometimes Sundays. And I wanted to say, you know, when I go out on a job site and I'm trying to think about these videos, I never really know what I'm going to do. You know, I always have my camera with me, and sometimes they're interesting, sometimes they're more informational. I like to say educational, and I'm still learning myself. There's a lot of times that I'll put something out, and I'm hoping for you guys to add your comments, add your ideas, add your knowledge, because like I've said many, many times, I want this to be a community of like-minded tree lovers, tree workers, and maybe even armchair arborists. So thanks again, and leave a comment. Hit that little like button if you liked it, and hit that little bell up there, and that'll alert you to the next one. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It helps me out a lot. Thank you.